Question from permutations and combinations. I want integers greater than 2000 with these digits. 2000 is a 4-digit number. 6 digits है, so I can have 4-digit numbers, 5-digit numbers, 6-digit numbers. But in the 4-digit numbers, the first digit can only be 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. So 4 ways में ये fill हो सकता है. Out of 6 digits, 1 digit is gone. 5 digits left. Second place 5 ways. Third place 4 ways. Fourth place 3 ways. You get a total of 240 numbers. When you take 5-digit numbers, all of them will be greater than 2000, but in the first position 0 is not allowed, so 5 ways. Out of 6 digits, 1 digit is used up. 5 digits are now available. But second digit onwards 0 is allowed, so 5 ways, 4 ways, 3 ways, 2 ways. You get a total of 600 numbers. Same for the 6-digit numbers where first position pe 0 is not allowed, so 5 ways. Then 5 ways, 4 ways, 3 ways, 2 ways. Standard calculation, you get 600 ways, add them all up, you get a total of 1440. The answer is A part for question number 12. So this was an easy P and C question, तो ये definitely लोगों से हुआ होगा. This was the shortest question of the paper. Milliseconds में ये हो जाएगा. For some natural number n, assume that 15,000 factorial is divisible by n factorial ka factorial. So the terminology is scary. Largest possible value for n is, options use करेंगे. Let's use the largest option. 15,000 factorial is divisible by, largest option is 7. 7 factorial is 5040. 7 factorial ka factorial. So 5040 ka factorial. So is 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 up till 15,000 divisible by 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 up till 5040. Of course, the numerator is larger than denominator. It satisfies. Answer is B part for question number 13. Question on logs. Number of distinct integer values of n that satisfy numerator upon denominator to be negative. A fraction will be negative in two cases. First is when the numerator is positive and the denominator is negative. And the second is when the numerator is negative and the denominator is positive. We solve these two cases and then we see whether we are getting some integral values of n. Basic solving. 4 becomes greater than log n base 2, and now remove the log. So your n becomes basically base to the power RHS 2 to the power 4 हो जाएगा यहाँ पे, is greater than n. So according to this, n should be less than 16. n 16 से कम होना चाहिए. Similarly 3 is less than log n base 4, so ये 4 power 3 हो जाएगा, less than n. So over here what you have is n should be less than 16 but greater than 64. How can n be less than 16 and greater than 64? That's not possible. दोनों नहीं हो सकता, या तो less than 16 या greater than 64. Therefore this part has no solution. There are no values for n that are possible over here. And the second case at the bottom is exactly the same with sign changed. So I put the same thing at the bottom, but उनका सबके sign change कर देंगे because इन दोनों के यहाँ पे sign changed है, so you don't need to solve the whole thing again. So यहाँ less आ जाएगा, यहाँ greater आ जाएगा. So now we plot this. n should be greater than 16 but less than 64. 16 से बड़ा, 64 से छोटा. This is 16 से बड़ा, 64 से छोटा. So the common region is between 16 and 64. That means n can take values from 17 to 63. Count the values. 63 minus 17 plus 1. The answer is 47 for question number 14. And that was a nice question. Next question is from linear equations. In an exam, there are 75 questions. 3 marks for each correct answer, 1 mark for each wrong answer, 1 mark for each unattempted question. So 3 marks for correct answer and 1 mark deducted for wrong answer, 1 mark awarded for unattempted. Okay, so C is the number of correct questions, W is the number of wrong questions, U is the number of unattempted questions, to give you a total of 97 marks. And you had 75 questions, so C plus W plus U turns out to be 75, the total number of questions. If the number of unattempted questions, that's U, was higher than the attempted questions. U was greater than C plus W, एक inequality डाल दिया. Then find the maximum number of correct questions. C का maximum value चाहिए आपको. If you want to maximize C, तो C plus W भी तो maximize हो जाएगा. The higher C is, the higher C plus W will be. And if C plus W becomes larger, then U will become smaller. क्यों? Why is that? If the sum of these three terms is fixed 75, उसमें से C plus W अगर ज़्यादा हो जाएगा तो U कम हो जाएगा. U will become minimum. तो मुझे U का minimum value चाहिए. ठीक है. So I just start taking some values. Let's say C plus W is 0, तो U becomes 75. अगर C plus W 20 हो गया out of 75, तो यहाँ 55 हो जाएगा. So as soon as I start increasing this, ये चीज़ decrease होना start हो जाता है. सो और बढ़ा देते हैं. 35 तक ले गए तो ये 75 माइनस 35 40 हो गया. तो और थोड़ा सा बढ़ सकता है टिल 37. बेसिकली व्हेन C plus W is 37, U will become 38 and that will be the last point. इसके आगे C plus W आप नहीं बढ़ा सकते, अदरवाइज वो U से बड़ा हो जाएगा. C plus W will become bigger than U and that is not possible. So let us substitute U equal to 38. U को 38 रख देते हैं. Let's rewrite my equations. C plus W 75 minus 38, that's 37. Add the equations, आपका W cancel हो जाएगा. 4C is equal to 96. C turns out to be 24. This was definitely a tough question based upon a lot of logic, that in order to maximize C, you have to maximize C plus W. That means you have to minimize U. तो दोनों को पास पास रखना है. You have to keep them close to each other, and the U value for U happens to be 38. So the answer is 2424 for question number 15. This is a question on averages. You have 5 students including Amit. They appear for an exam. Marks are integers between 0 and 50 inclusive. Average marks for 5 students is 38, so total becomes 38 into 5, 190 marks. Exactly 3 students got more than 32. 3 students का 32 से ज़्यादा है, बाकी 2 का less than equal to 32 है. 3 students got more than 32, the other 2 got less than equal to 32. No two students got the same marks, and Amit got the least marks. Amit के least है, Amit के marks A ले लो, बाकी 4 students ले लेते हैं. Total is equal to 38 into 5, that's 190 marks. 190 marks आपको बनाने. Now this becomes the tough part, where these three values have to be greater than 32. The tough part is what you have to calculate. Find the difference between the highest and lowest possible marks of Amit. अगर अमित को मार्क्स आपने कम देने हैं मिनिमम, तो बाकी सबको ज़्यादा दे दो. गिव मैक्सिमम पॉसिबल मार्क्स दैट यू कैन गिव. सो हाईएस्ट यू कैन गिव इज़ 50, then 49, then 48, because marks are distinct. And last person has to be, ये जो fourth and fifth have to be less than equal to 32. तो less than equal to 32 में fourth person को 32 दे दो, and then total all this up. ये हो जाएगा 50, 49, 40, that's 147. 179 out of 190 leaves you with 11 marks for Amit. Amit का minimum 11 आ गया. ठीक है. Now when you have to give Amit को maximum marks, Amit has the lowest marks, Amit को maximum marks देने हैं, and the last 2 people have scored less than equal to 32 marks. So less than equal to 32 में if you want to give more marks, let's give 32 and 31. तो यहाँ 31, यहाँ 32. डन. सो अमित के मैक्सिमम 31 हो जाएंगे. 31 and 32 is 63 out of 190, that's 130. 127 मार्क्स बाकी 3 लोगों को देने हैं. जैसे देने हैं दे दो. हाँ, in whichever manner you wish to give 127 marks. For example, I don't know, 40 दे दो स्टूडेंट 3 को, 41 दे दो स्टूडेंट 4 को, बाकी बचे हुए 46 दे दो स्टूडेंट 5 को. There are infinite ways of giving these remaining marks. But Amit ka maximum is 31 and minimum is 11. So 31 minus 11, the answer is 20. And that was a nice question. A question on exponents, which we have already seen in the last year's papers. ये पहले आ चुका है. So something to the power something equal to 1 कब होगा? there are three possible cases. 1 to the power anything will always be 1, and then anything to the power 0 will always be 1, and then if you have minus 1 to the power some even number, then that will also be 1. ठीक है, so quickly we take the base as 1, x square minus 10 as 1, तो ये x आ जाता है plus minus root 11, but that is not an integer. Then you have something to the power 0, power को 0 कर देंगे, the power 0, so your roots turn out to be 5 and minus 2, and these are two integers over here. And in the third case base को minus 1 करना है, तो यहाँ पे x square minus 10 अगर minus 1 किया तो x turns out to be plus minus 3, and for this we really need to check first कि आपका जो power है वो integer आ रहा है या नहीं. ठीक है, so आपका 3 square minus 3 times 3 minus 10 कितना आ जाएगा, 9 minus 9 0, ये minus 10 आ जाएगा. Similarly प्लस के केस में भी ये इवन नंबर आ जाएगा. 3 square plus 9 minus 10, 18 minus 10, 8 आ जाएगा. So in both cases the power is even, you get two more integers over here, so therefore the total answer for number of integral values for question 17 is 4. That is a repetitive question from last year. Question from SICI. Mr. Pinto invests 1/5 of his capital at 6%, 1/5 at 6%, 1/3 at 10%, and remaining at 1%. ठीक है, so all of this is at simple interest. So if I have 1/5 and 1/3 and remaining, it would be nice to take my capital value or principal value as something that is divisible by 5 and 3. So basically divisible by 15. तो मैंने यहाँ पे ले लिया. And then you have the question, minimum number of years required for the interest income to exceed, equal or exceed initial capital. ठीक है, तो when will the interest become equal to or exceed the capital is the question. Very easy question. 1500p ले लेते हैं इनिशियल, उसका 1/5 हो जाएगा 300p at 6%. ठीक है, which becomes 1% is 3p, 6% becomes 3p into 6, that's 18p. 1/3 हो जाएगा 500p at 10%, तो 50p पर ईयर आ जाएगा. एंड रिमेनिंग कितना बच गया आपका, 700p बच गया. सी 500p and 300p, टोटल 800p ऑफ द प्रिंसिपल इज गॉन आउट ऑफ 1500p, तो 700p बच गया. 700p at 1% gives you 7p every year. So every year if you add the total interest values, you get 75p of interest every single year. हर साल 75p मिल रहा है, 1500p बनाना है, so 1500p upon 75p becomes 20 years लग जाएंगे to equal this particular capital value, and that is the answer. Question number 18. Question from sequence and series. You have an AP, right? Consider an AP 3 7 11, first term is 3, common difference is 4, and let an be the sum of the first n terms of this progression. Sum of first n terms of an AP का मुझे formula पता है, so let me substitute that. 1/25 summation n by 2, 2 into a, that's 2 into 3, 6, plus n minus 1 into 4. इसको simplify कर देते हैं. 6 minus 4 2 हो जाएगा. ठीक है, n equal to 1 to 25. So इसको simplify करके लिखते हैं. 6 minus 4 will become n by 2. 6 minus 4 2, 2 plus 4n आ जाएगा. 2 plus 4n and you have divided by 2, तो ये 1 plus 2n बन जाएगा. And if you expand this, तो ये n plus 2n square बन जाएगा. ठीक है, now you have a summation sign over it. So this is a little bit of advanced question and concept. If you are aware of this question type, तो ही ये समझ आ रहा होगा आपको. I have summation n and I have summation 2n square. So 1/25 में summation n हो जाएगा. Summation n means sum of first n natural numbers, n into n plus 1 by 2, and summation 2n square हो जाएगा. Summation n square का formula I'll put sum of squares n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 upon 6. ठीक है, ये cancel होके 3 आ जाएगा. Finally put n equal to 25 sorry, because you just have to add all of these for the first 25 terms और आपका आंसर आ जाएगा. So put 25 instead of n. पहले तो यहाँ पे n हटा के मैं 25 रख देता हूँ. ठीक है, और ये 25 आपका कैंसिल आउट हो जाएगा. Now 25 is cancelled out, it is further simplified, so 25 plus 1, 26 upon 2 plus 25, 26 into 51 upon 3. तो ये हो जाएगा 13 plus 442, answer is 455. C part for question number 19. So this was an advanced question, it was a lengthy question, and we have always seen that sequence and series के questions generally थोड़े से लंबे पड़ते हैं. The question on quadratics. Algebra can be a little tricky sometimes. There is a quadratic function f of x such that f of x is always greater than or equal to 0. So the graph will look like this. Greater than, or either it is always positive, or it will touch the graph at one point, which means one point will mean equal roots. ठीक है, so 0 और 1 root आपके, या तो अगर वो हमें जब वो अगर वो पॉजिटिव, इफ इट्स ग्रेटर देन और इक्वल टू 0 means that, so greater than or equal to 0 means that it is not telling us for sure, right? It's greater than or equal to 0 means there might be 0 roots or there might be 1 root, and 1 root in the sense that वो दोनों roots equal हो जाएंगे. But then it says इसका मतलब क्या होगा, तो 0 roots means discriminant is less than 0, and 1 root means discriminant is equal to 0. As you know, equal roots means d equal to 0. So your d is less than or equal to 0, and we will see if this information is required or not. But then जब लिखने लगे तो पता चला कि f of 2 is 0 and f of 4 is 6. If f of 2 is 0, that means 2 is a root. आपको उन्होंने एक रूट दे दिया है 2, and there is basically only one pair of equal roots. So your quadratic function can now be written as a, जिसका वैल्यू हमें पता नहीं, into x minus 2 whole square, because roots are equal, दोनों ही 2 हैं, so you get x minus 2 into x minus 2. That is your quadratic polynomial f of x. Now let us use f of 4, which is 6. 4 डालेंगे, 4 minus 2, 2 square, a into 2 square, तो आपका a का वैल्यू आ जाएगा 6 upon 4, that's 3 upon 2. Your quadratic is now complete, so we can find f of minus 2. एक की जगह रखो 3 upon 2, and minus 2 becomes minus 4 square, that's 16. 16 upon 2, 8. 8 into 3 is 24. The answer is C part for question number 20. Nice question, and definitely good for the exam. Nice question that combines multiple concepts of geometry, and because of the multiple steps, it would have been a little challenging in the exam. You have the length of each side of an equilateral triangle ABC is 3 centimeters. D is a point on BC such that area triangle ADC is half of ABD. ADC is half of ABD. According to that, let me make my point D over here, so that ADC is half of ABD. ठीक है, okay, so area triangle ADC upon ABD is 1 upon 2, and ADC कितना हो जाएगा, half into base into altitude. Altitude will be h, let me call it h, and base हो जाएगा BD. ठीक है, sorry, DC for ADC, and ABD के लिए half h and BD हो जाएगा, which is 1:2. So half and h gets cancelled. That means DC is to BD is 1:2, जिसमें से BC is of length 3 centimeters, right? Total is 3. That means it's just a simple ratio now. Let me draw the altitude also over here. Altitude बना देते हैं यहाँ पे h, that is h. So DC becomes 1 and BD becomes 2. इसको mark कर देते हैं अब, ठीक है. अच्छा, also in an equilateral triangle the perpendicular bisects the base, so that means आपका जो BE है वो 1.5 हो जाएगा, because BC is 3. BC is 3, so BE becomes 1.5, ठीक है. And BD was 2, so therefore ED becomes 0.5, and DC को तो हमने 1 निकाल ही लिया था. So I get all of this breakdown for the base, and all of this is work in the exam. Now area of equilateral triangle, which is root 3 by 4 into side square 3 square, is equal to half into base into altitude. Altitude h, base 3 cancel, 2 से गया यहाँ पे, so height आ गया आपका 3 root 3 upon 2. Height is now 3 root 3 upon 2. So now I can use Pythagoras theorem to calculate AD. AD square is 3 root 3 upon 2 whole square प्लस ED² दैट इज़ हाफ का स्क्वायर. ठीक है, इसको सॉल्व कर देते हैं. 27/4 प्लस 1/4, 28/4 दैट इज 7. AD² is 7, so AD becomes √7. And the answer is D part. So this was definitely a slightly lengthy question with multiple properties being used. Nice question for the exam. Lovely question that combines two topics like a mixed veg dish of TSD and geometry. So over here you have two ships who meet mid-ocean at this dot. One ship goes south here and the other goes west, both traveling at constant speeds. 2 hours later they are 60 kilometers apart, so the distance between the ships 2 hours later is 60. And then it says that speed of one of the ships is 6 kilometers per hour more than the other. तो हम पहली ship का speed s ले लेते हैं. This happened 2 hours later, right? So 2 hours later at a speed of s, distance covered becomes speed into time 2s. And the speed of the other ship is 6 kilometers per hour more, so that becomes s plus 6 for 2 hours, s plus 6 into 2. And now यहाँ पे we can apply Pythagoras theorem. What a lovely question, and definitely not at all difficult. But हाँ 2 मिनट तो इसमें लग जाते हैं आपको. Let's use Pythagoras theorem quickly. Find the speed of the slower ship, that is s. So 2s whole square plus 2 into s plus 6 whole square is equal to 60 square, that's 3600. 4s square, यहाँ 4 s square plus 6 36 plus 12s is 3600. 4 से cancel out कर देते हैं, that becomes 900. And then s square plus s square becomes 2s square. ठीक है, अब 2 से cancel out करके we get our final quadratic as s square plus 6s minus 9, 870, 864, 432 is equal to 0. Either you can solve this quadratic or you should better use the options to match the answer. For example, मैं A part अगर check करूँ 12, so 12 12s are 144. 144 minus 432, ये तो 0 बिल्कुल होने का chance नहीं है. So I try the second option. I use the options. I try the second option. 18 डालेंगे. 18 square 324 plus 6 into 18, that's 108 minus 432. Indeed, it is equal to 0. When it is equal to 0, the answer is B part for question number 22. That was the last question of the test.